Okay, so today we'll be talking about hash function. So it's a very nice data structure. Uh, so is the skin is coming there? The skin is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so we'll start hash function. Okay, so hash function is a data structure which was introduced to solve a certain type of problem that is called symbol table problem. So let me just first discuss what is this problem means. The symbol table problem is basically we have some records. So each record is like this. It's a student record. If we have a student record, we have some fields there, right? Attributes, student roll number, this may be roll number, name, then CGPA, SGPA, marks in algorithm, address, male, female, age, all these are called attributes. If you consider the database problem, these are called attributes. So these are the fields of a record. This is corresponding to only one record, one student. So each student has such uh, fields, such attributes. Okay. Now among these fields, we consider one field to be a key field, say roll number. So this is key field, roll number, depending on our applications. So roll number is usually unique. So if we have to search a student, we can search based on the roll number. Okay, so that is unique to all. You can have the your PAN card or something like that. So that field we consider to be key field. Another field are, you can say something like other data or satellite data. So those are not. So we'll do everything in terms of this field only. The field which we are choosing, that is our key field, key of X, key of the record. We'll consider everything with respect to value of that field. Like for example, we can take the key field to be our algorithm marks, the first class test, sorry, the algorithm marks in the mid sem, say. So now so we have say 300 students, and each student having this all the fields. So among this field, we choose the algo marks as a key field. Okay, so algo marks. So that is our key field. So depending on the application, why we need, because we want to choose something like who got the highest marks or who got the marks less than 30, so that we can have an improvement for those students like that. So we want to do the operations, we want to do the searching, or we want to do the arrangement, everything we want to do based on this field. So that is usually called key field, key of the record. And other field are also important, but not for this purpose. So we are for these applications, but other fields are associated with the record. So they are called attributes, or they are called other satellite data, something like that. So they are other fields, but we are going to do the operations based on this field. So what are the operations we are going to do? So we are going to perform some operation like yeah, we are going to perform the operation like, yeah, please. Any question? Yeah. So we are going to perform insert operation, delete operation. So this is a set of records. So in this set, we want to allow this set to be dynamic. That means we want to allow any new record to be joined in this set. A new student join in the campus, so we need to maintain that. We need to insert that student in this set. So T is basically a dynamic set which is storing some records, and we have to say we have some for these are the key values of the records: 40, 10, 50, 9. These are the key values of some record. So each this is associated with a record. So this is associated with X1 record, This is x2 record. So this key of x2 is 10, key of x1 is 40, like that. So now we want to insert a record, say x5. So we have a record x5, which is a new record whose key value is, say, something like that, 7 or something. So we want to insert this record into this set. So that means we want to insert 7 into this set. So this set is dynamic, and also delete operation we should able to perform. We should able to, suppose a student is got a job, and we don't consider that student for the next campusing, so we want to delete that student from the database. So what we do, we can just delete this. Say we want to delete x3, so we want to delete 50, so we have we need to delete that 50. And moreover, this is most important operations, searching. We should able to search a record. So we should able to search a record whose key value is 40, like that. So search operations should be very, all the operations should be very in faster way, efficient way. So that is the goal. So we have to maintain a set T to store all these keys, such that we should able to perform these operations in a faster way. This basically 3 operations. Insert, we should able to add a record in the database. We should able to delete a record which is no longer needed from this set, and we should able to search a record with the given key value. Suppose we are searching a record whose key value is 9, so we should able to get that. We should able to search it in a faster way. So these are the operations we should able to do. Now we need to think of data structure. So this problem is called symbol table problem. So we need to have a data structure for this T, for this dynamic set T. At some point of time, it is containing n records. Okay. So can you suggest some data structure for this? For set T, so that we can do this operation in a faster way. So what is the first data structure you could think about?
Linked list.
Yeah. So linked list or array. So if we just store this in a linked list or array, so we just store it 40, then 10, 50, 9, and we can keep some space. If we are using array, we can keep some space to be added, to new record to be added. So when we want to insert this 7, so how to insert? We go to the end of the list or end of the array, we insert the 7. If it is linked list, we have to create a node there in the heap area of the memory, and we can use in the C calloc or malloc, then we can just create a node and we can insert this node and we can have a link like that. So yes, linked list is one of the solution, but in that case, what is the search time? How to search? Or so this is our T. T is just a array or linked list. So search is linear time, because we haven't done anything with these sets. We did not sort it. We just, the way they are coming, we are just storing them. So it's a linear time, because we have to, if there are n elements in this set, then you have to search it linearly. So just a for loop of size n. So that's a linear time. And insert also, delete also, because for insert we need to go to the end of the record, unless you store this index. And delete also, because for delete you unless you return unless you give the index where it is sitting or this. Okay. Now the question is where the records are. These are the key values we are storing. So records are sitting somewhere in the memory, right? And somehow we need to maintain some bit over here to indicate the address. To indicate the address of that. Indicate the address where it is, where the virtual address or something like that, to fetch the record, because ultimately we have to fetch the record. So this is the we are storing these keys over here in this array, but somehow we need to have a mechanism. This is the implementation issue with the database problem. Somehow we need to have a mechanism to store this field to fetch the actual record. We need to get the actual student. So we need to get this x1. X1 contain this field like all the fields. So key field is 40 and all other fields are there. So you need to get the names, roll number, maybe this could be roll number anyway, address, CGPA, GPA, all these fields. So this is our x1 one record. So this is stored in some memory, say 4001 virtual memory location. So somehow this 4001 should be stored somewhere here in order to fetch the record, actual record. But anyway, those details I am not going. We are just want to learn some data structure to store these key values. Okay. Yeah. So array is one of the solution, but array will take order of n time. We want to do something faster. Anything else other than array? Any data structure you know so far? Other than array, or even with array, we want to do it faster. Even we want to do it in how to do it in constant time. Any idea how to do it in constant time?
Sir, storing the data in a large array where the array index will be that key, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. So you are suggesting that suppose we have a, yeah. So that is a good idea. Suppose we have t set like this, say 4, 3, 1, 5. Say suppose uh, this is our key values. So what you are suggesting? You are suggesting to have a array of this maximum is 5. So we should have an array of 1 to 5. Or if it is starting from 0, we need to have 0 to 5. So depending on the value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then how you store it?
Just put the value on that fifth. I mean the fifth position of the array.
Uh, put the value means?
Put the value of 5 key. I mean the value with key 5. We will put that in.
No, that is the value. That is the value. That is the value. Yeah. So we have to just put a 1 or 0. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
kind of
For now.
switch on, switch off. If somebody there in this room or not. So 1 or 0. So 1 is there present. So 1. So 3. There is no 2. So 0. So this is 1. That's all. So we have to maintain this 1 or 0. This is here. So we have a array of size. This how much we are allowing the value. So it is starting from 0. So we can have 0 to m minus 1. So our maximum value is, maximum key value we are allowing to be 0 to m minus 1. Now how to maintain this array? We are maintaining if a key is present, then tk we are putting is to be 1. If the, say this is our k, so this will be 1 if k is in the set, if k belongs to t. That's all. So it's very nice data structure. It's just a presence or absence. So if our t is say the 4, 9, 1, 3. So we have a 1 over here, and somehow we have a 4 over here. This is dot dot 4 over here, and say we have 9 over here. Yeah. So this is not there. K is some arbitrary value, and we have 13 over here. Okay, so we'll just put this value to be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And if this is the current situation at some point of time, then the remaining are zeros. Okay. Now, how to insert? How to insert a, say we want to insert a record whose key value is 2. So how to insert?
Just increase the value by 1.
Yeah, just we'll, it was off, we are making on. So here we are not allowing, see here all the sets are distinct. So that is important. So there are no repetition of the keys. Here we are not allowing. So keys are all distinct. Okay. So that means there will be only 0 or 1s. So it's a bit vector. Switch on, switch off. So these are the rooms. If somebody is there in the room, it is 1. If nobody is there in the room, it is off. It is 0. So switch on, switch off. So what do we do if we have to insert? So insert operation is just we go to that T of k and we make it 1. That's all. This is the insert operation. We make it 1. So if we have to insert 2, we go here, it was 0, so we make it 1 like this. So 2, 2. Any question? Any question?
Sir, can you explain the first line x if x belong to k and key of x equal to k, that one?
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so this is basically presence or absence. So this is 0 or 1 basically. So this is the record. So we mean to say we are storing this record into that field. Suppose for example 1 is there. So this k t of 1 is present. This is present or absent. So who is present? The record is present there. So if the record is in the key set, whose key value is k. So this is 0 or 1. So you can just think this is 0. Sorry, this is 1. Otherwise means it is 0. That record is not present there. So that is the way.
Sir, but here it is written x, right? So what is x?
So x means the presence or x means the record. So we have to somehow store that record. I mean, we have to somehow indicate that record is present there. So that indication we are doing 0 or 1. So if you like, you can use this is to be, instead of this capital X, you can you can use 1 or you can use 0 here. Okay. So 1 means if the key is, I mean, if there is a record whose key value is k, then we said this to be 1. This X means it is the record is present in that field. That is the meaning. But you can use 0, 1. So for this set, if this is our key values, forget about this record business. If you are not comfortable, we have some key values. So these key values we are storing into this array. This is a bit vector. So where if the key is present, we will put that 1 there. If key is absent, we will put 0. And this X we have written here means that record is present there. Okay. So this is the how to insert. Now how to delete? Suppose we want to delete a record. We want to delete a record whose key value is 4. How to delete?
Switch off.
Make T4.
Yeah, switch off. Thank you. So we go to that field. We made it absent. That means we delete that. I mean, we have to delete from the actual record. So we have to just go to that field and we free that space. I mean, if you want to, otherwise to avoid the dangling reference. So switch off, switch on. So we go to that field and we make it 0. So very faster operation. So it just take constant time. Just we go to that field and make it 1 if we have to insert, add, or otherwise make it 0 if we have to delete. Very nice data structure, but there is a drawback of this. Can you tell me the drawback of this data structure?
Can't handle
Sir,
copies, sir.
Huh?
sir,
Can't
if you are
handle copies.
inserting,
When
if
we are inserting, yes.
then again you have to insert in the original array also, no sir?
This is my array. This is our array of this T array where we are maintaining this. This is the direct access table, we can say, and this is 0 to m minus 1. That is the possible key values. We are assuming thus our keys are coming from this set 0 to m minus 1. That means maximum key value we are allowing m minus 1. Now, whenever a record is coming, that key value should belongs to this. Now, whenever a record is coming, we are putting that if the key value is k, we are making this 1 to represent that record is present. This tk is x means we represent the record is present in our database. Now, where this record is in somewhere in the memory. These are all records here. Different record we have. Now, this is the record which key value is say this k. So now to get the record, we need to somehow maintain some address here to store the record, to fetch the record, actual record. But that part we are not discussing here, the implementation part of that. We just think about, we have some set of numbers and we need to arrange this number in a data structure. We need to store this number in the data structure so that we can do this operation in a faster way. But to have this background where these numbers are coming, these numbers are basically the key value of some records. So, but for our purpose, you can forget that record business. Just think of some numbers. We have some numbers, and these numbers are we are storing so that we can do this operation in a faster way. That insertion, deletion, and searching. Now, how search will be done here in this direct access table? How search will be done? How to search?
Indexing.
Indexing. If we have to search, say 100. So suppose we want to search whether 100 is there in this set or not. So what we do? We go to T100. We check this field. If this field is 0, then this key is not there. If this field is 1, then the key is there. So search is also just a constant time. We need to go to that indexing. So we need to check whether that room is empty or not, or somebody is there or not. Okay. So, but what is the problem with this data structure?
Sir, firstly, the size will be very large for large M, even if the number of elements will be small. And another thing is that here the keys must be integer. That is not always the case. It may be string or decimal or anything.
Yeah. So
Also, we can't handle copies, sir.
Yeah, the main problem you said, if we have a, say, suppose for example, if we have a set like this, so 4, 9, 2, 1, and then suddenly we have, let me write 21. Suppose we have this set. Okay, we have a set, or we have only 5 records. But what is the size of this our direct access table? Size will be this much because we have a bigger record, bigger key value. So that is the problem. If we are having some bigger key value, then we need to maintain a bigger size table. So that is the drawback. Any question? Yeah. So that is the drawback. If we have a bigger, if our key size is bigger, then we have a problem with that. So to avoid that, what we do? Yeah. So let me just erase this part. Yeah. So if the range of the key can be large, if it is a 64-bit numbers, then this is the size of the key. So 164-bit number means maximum is all are ones. So 2 to the power 64. So this is the size of the key. So if the key size is more, then we have a problem. So to avoid that, what we do? We introduce the new data structure which is called hash function. So what is a hash function? Hash function, we know this is our, so we have a we are not restricting our key size. So key could be anything. So this is our set of keys U. So U is a set of keys. U could be anything, any bit, 64 bit or any size, any arbitrary size, any big numbers. But we have our table size is fixed because we cannot afford such a big table. If we have a say 64-bit number, we cannot afford this 2 to the power 64 size tables. So that is huge numbers. We fix our table. Say our table could be say up to 500. So it is 0 to 499, something like that. So we fix our table, that is 0 to m minus 1, 0, 1 up to m minus 1. Then we just have a function. That function is taking a key, any arbitrary size key, and it is mapping to a table size over here. So we take a key from here. We take a key from here and we apply the h. So it will map to one of this slot. So h of k will be belongs to 0 to m minus 1, m minus 1, and any such function is called hash function. So hash function is a function which takes any key. This is universe of key. This U is the universe of key, that is set of all possible keys, and this set is very big. Any key if we take, that is the domain, and what is the codomain? It will map to these numbers, and once it is mapped to these numbers, we'll just map it here. So suppose this key is mapping to 0, 1, 2, so that means if h of k is 2, then we will go to this field and we will put this k over here. So that is the hashing. So any such function is called hash function. Okay. Any question? So that is called hash function. Any such function which can able to take any arbitrary size key and which will map to a fixed size. I mean this size is less. So basically it is a function from bigger size to smaller size. So this is our h. So h is this size is very big and this is very small size function. This is domain, this is codomain. So this is our h. Okay. So it takes a key from here. This is our U set. This is our U set, and this is our table. This is our T basically, the array. You can say this is array. We can maintain this table in array. So array size is 0 to m minus 1. Okay. So now let us just take some keys over here, and we can just say how it is mapping there. So any such function, if we have given such a function, then we can do the this hashing. So okay. So now this is our set of all possible keys. So among this set, we have some keys of size n. So this is our k. So this is containing k1, some numbers, some keys at some point of time, k2, kn, and these are coming from U. This is our current position of the our database. We have these keys at some point of time. We take a snapshot. We have these keys, and we need to store this key into this table, into this array. So what we do? We just apply the hash function. We have k1. We apply the hash function. So it will give us some values over here, 0 to m minus 1. So we put k1 there. We have another k2, another key k2. So we apply hash function. So hash function is a function which takes any key from here, and which will map to a 0 to m minus 1. So whatever value we get, we go to that index and we'll insert this k2 over here. So k1 will be inserted here, k2 will be inserted here. Okay. Then we take another k3 which is mapping there. So k3 will be inserted here. So good going, but the problem is, if we have, so k4 is inserted there. So when will be the problem? Any idea?
The array is exhausted. Exhausted. Elements are already loaded.
Yeah. So
Another
for
element
example,
is
yeah,
the
this
same.
is the situation. Yeah. So this is k5. So so h of k5 is mapping to some, h of k5 is some value which is not empty. That means which is already occupied. So that means k2 was there. So now k5 is also mapping to this cell, this array, these array positions. That is a problem, because we cannot allow these two students to share a room. So we have to do something. It's not our IIT hostel or something like that. So there are there are two keys which are colloiding. This is called collision. This is called collision. Collision means when the two keys, here k2 and k3, and the two keys are mapped to a same slot. Why that is possible? Why that is natural? I mean, why the collision will occur? Any idea? Why we can't we avoid collision? I mean, why this h? What is our h? H is a function from u to this set.
T.
Yeah, u to t. T is basically this set. So now why t is an array of 0 to m minus 1. Now why, my question is, why there will be a collision? I mean, we can expect the collision. Why we can't
Sir,
have a
Sir,
when we cannot have a collision?
sir,
m is less than the size
M
of the
is
inner.
less than the value.
Yeah, because this h is a function such that its domain is big and codomain is small. So in this situation, we cannot have a bijective mapping, na, injective. So we can, because this is a very smaller set. So collision will be avoided if there are the mapping is this one to one. But since this set is smaller, there has to be some collision. We cannot avoid that, because to avoid the collision, we need to take this set to be bigger, but that is not allowed. We cannot afford that much bigger size of the array or table. So collision is quite natural. We cannot have a one-to-one mapping for this hash function. So hash function, this h cannot be one-to-one mapping, because this set is bigger than this set. So this set is smaller. So that's why collision is quite natural. Okay. So now the question is how to handle these collisions. Any idea how we can handle this collision? So here we have two keys which are mapped to a same slot. This k2 and k3, which map to some slot, say I. So this is say some value I. So this both are having same hash value, k2 and k3. Sorry, k2 and k5. So then we have to handle this collision. We know collision is we cannot avoid, because we cannot have a one-to-one mapping for that. Now how to handle this collision? Because we cannot ask them to share the same room, because this is a array. So how to handle? Any idea?
Maybe make a linked list at that position, just to have, just like we did in bucket sort.
Yeah. So that is the chaining. So we'll just resolve this. I mean, we'll just, this is one solution for this collision. Once we have a collision, suppose we have some, this is our u and this is our hash table. This is our table 0 to m minus 1. This is 0 0 to m minus 1. This is our array. Okay. Now suppose we have some keys. This is our key of our at some point of time. There are, although key size is big, but we don't have that much all the keys in our hand. We have only n keys at some point of time. So 49, these are the keys. Say we have some other keys which are not colliding, and we have 52. So all are, if we apply the hash function, all are mapping to some slot, some I could be
Sir,
100.
or
Any,
instead of linked list, can't we have another hash table, sir?
yeah, so that we will discuss. So how to, instead of chaining, so this method is called chaining. Yeah, so that is one of the, so for that we need to have a extra memory outside the table. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you are correct. I mean, instead of chaining, how we can solve this problem. So we'll come to that. That is called probing. We'll try to see whether there is a empty space in the table itself, but that will come in a later stage. But let us first understand what is the chaining. So we just, what we do, we have all these three keys are colliding here. So we need to have a linked list, or we need to have a array or something like that to uh, store this. So we just store these keys into the linked list. So 49, the order they are coming, the which order we are applying the hash function on them. So that order we are following here. So we have a list on this. This is called chaining method. So by we handle this, we cannot avoid the collision. There will be collision, but how to handle the collision? This is one of the method which is called chaining method. Now, can you think of when this so can you think of insert, delete and search operation in this? Is this data structure clear? Hashing. So we have a function which is called hash function, which can take any key, and key size is big, arbitrary, and which will map to a fixed size, fixed size array index or table index. So can you think of an application of this, where you can apply this application of this hash function? Any application you know? Before we go to the time complexity of these operations. For example, password. Yes. Yes.
So
Please.
names of the people who got the same marks.
Names of the people of the
Who got same marks.
got same marks. So that is your searching. So you are storing some record. That is your searching. If they have the same marks, so they will be having in same. No, I'm not asking the chaining. I'm asking in general the application of hash function, where we apply this hashing. For example, password. So we know we can have your Windows password or your email password, anything. So password, there is no such restriction on the password. You can have a poem, big poem as your password, but your computer having a fixed size register to store 64 bits. So whatever password you think, 2000 bit, a big poems, so that has to convert into that 64 bit, because your computer can store only 64 bit 01 bits. So that is one application of hash function. So whatever the values, whatever the password you could think, it has to map to a fixed size, fixed length. So that is one application. Anyway, can you tell me the time complexity of those operation? Insert. How to insert an element? How to insert? How to insert?
Just
You want to
calculate the hash function and go to that index. If any element is present at that, then just go to the linked list one after another, and at last it will be connected.
Yeah. So to insert, suppose you want to insert a new element k. So k is, we take this k over this capital K, this is capital K. Okay. Now what we do to insert? We apply the hash function. Suppose we are inserting 100, say 100 is the key value. So we apply the hash function. If it is say some values which is not collision is happening, then we just insert that 100 over there. But the problem is, if the hash value of that is hitting to a slot which is already occupied, which is already somebody is there, then we may have a list there. If there is already 2% or if there is 1%, we have to create the list. So we'll go to the list and we'll insert that 100 or whatever the value over here, K, and we'll make it empty. Nil. Okay, this is the list. So this is the insert, and delete also same. How to delete? So suppose we want to delete 52. How to delete 52?
Find h of 52, calculate the hash and delete.
Yeah. So we apply 52. We apply h of 52. We go to this slot. We go to this array index, and we search for the 52. We got the 52. We just delete it. We have to free this in order to avoid the dangling reference. So that is the deletion. And how to search? Search is same. We want to search, it says, suppose you want to search 86, or so how to search? We just apply hash function, we go to that and we just go to that chain. And yes, any question?
So then how is searching constant time operation in this?
Yeah,
if
so
we go through all-
so yeah, so that is not constant, no? So that we have to discuss now. What is the time complexity? So what is the time complexity for all this? Can you tell?
If the m is a constant and not proportional to the input size, then it will be of the linear order. I mean,
No, the time complexity is depending on the size of the K. Suppose we have this is our U set and this is our K set of keys, which is we are mapped to this hash function, and suppose there are n keys, K1, K2, dot dot dot. We have n keys at some point of time. This is, and they are already mapped to this hash function. They are already mapped to this table. Now, can you tell me the time complexity for searching a key, insert a key, searching a key, or insert a key, or delete a key? N is so this is nothing to do with this m, right? Because we have n keys which we store into the table by applying the hash function. Okay. Now we have a new keys, or we just for example search. Now we have a key to be searched, whether that is in the table or not. So how to search 52 after creating that? So what is the time complexity for that? Any idea?
n by
Size of the
k.
linked list.
What is the worst case? What
N.
is the worst?
N.
N, yeah. Because it may happen that all the keys are colliding in the same slot. Our hash function is such a bad hash function that all the keys, all the n keys are colliding in same slot. So in that case, we have a chain of size n, and all the other cells are other table other elements, others are empty, other cells are empty. Only one cell which is containing n all the n keys. So that is a chain of size n. So in that case, the search, insert, all will take the linear time. Forget about constant, even linear time. So that is the worst case scenario. So that is we called as a bad hash function. Then the question is, what is a good hash function? So can you just think of what do you mean by a good hash function?
It will distribute uniformly throughout the array 0 to m minus 1.
Yeah. So it will, if there are n
Uniquely
keys, yeah. So it will distribute uniformly over the slots. It's not that one slot is having loaded, another slot is having half loaded, not like that. So it should distribute the keys uniformly over the tables, over the slot. Then we say our this hash function is a good hash function. So in that case, we have the time complexity like this. So in that case, we make the assumption simple uniform hashing. So that is called simple uniform hashing if our hash function having such a property. If the keys are, you take any keys. So keys are equally likely to be hashed to any slot in the table. And this is independent of other keys. So that means if there are m's, so there are m is the size of the table. So it is 0 to m minus 1. So now if you take a key over here, so this is our key. If we take a key over here, so the probability of it will map to ith slot is 1 by m. That is the meaning of this, equally likely. The probability of h of k will be I is 1 by m. That means this any key, if you take a key, that will map to one of this slot, they are equally likely. So the probability of h of k, let me write that, probability of h of k will be I. I is a slot, any slot is basically 1 by m. So that is classical definition of probability. So these slots are, these keys will be, these slots are equally likely to filled by the keys. And the independent means we have, so if we have a k1 and k2, the probability of k1 will be going to I and probability the k1, k2 will be going to j are independent. So that is the meaning. So if this property is there, then we call that hash function as simple uniform hash function or simple uniform hashing, or we can say good hash function. Why good? Because in that case, we can avoid that worst case scenario. That means one slot is having all the n keys. So we have a bigger chain. So in that case, we can do the, if there are n is the number of keys and m we know the number of slots, the table size, this is our table. Then we define n by m. So what is n by m? If we have a good hash function, n by m is basically the average number of keys per slot. Say suppose there are say 10 slots. Suppose there are 10 slots, and suppose there are 20 keys of our interest. Suppose there are 20 keys. So n is 20. Say this size is 20 and this size is 10. Now if we have a good hash function, simple uniform hash function, then what will be the each slot will contain how many keys? Because this 20 keys will be distributed 20 keys will be distributed uniformly over this. So we have 10 rooms which need to be occupied by 20 people. So each room will have 2 keys. So that is n by 10. N by m, and that is what is called load factor. So load factor is applicable when we have the uniformity in the hash function. If the hash function is good, then only we can talk about this load factor. So this is the average number of keys per slot. Now based on this load factor, can you tell the time complexity? Now if there are say 10 keys, if n is less than n, then we can easily manage in the same table. We don't need to go for the chaining in an average way. So because if there are say 5 keys, then load factor is 0.5. So we can easily accommodate 5 people in here because our hash function is a good hash function. Anyway, we'll discuss all these details. So tell me the time complexity for searching with this load factor if our hash function is good.
Big O of alpha.
Big O of 1 plus alpha, because we need to first, suppose we are searching or we need to apply the hash function. So that is the so one anyway. So we need to apply the hash function. So that is one operation we need to do. then we need to go to that particular slot where that person is sitting. So we need to apply the hash function. So this is we are searching the key. So we apply the hash function. It is hitting some slot over here. So that h of k. So that operation is this one plus then we have a chain of size alpha, because that is the load factor. Here we have a chain of we have an array of or linked list of size alpha. Then we have to search in this array or in that chain, in that list. So that will cost us alpha. So it is big O of 1 plus alpha. Now if alpha is constant, then only it is constant. But if alpha is order of n, like the worst case, if the hash function is bad hash function, then this will be big O of n. So that is the worst case scenario. Okay, so so this is the search. Now in the next class we'll take some example of a hash function and we'll see whether that is a good hash function or bad hash function. So for good hash function, it should distribute the keys uniformly over the slot. So that we have to take care in our mind when we construct the hash function. Okay, so any question before we stop?
Sir, one doubt.
Yeah, please.
Sir, in general, does the size of this hash table is fixed, or we
Hash
can
table is,
random?
yeah, no, hash table is given, it is fixed. So m is fixed. We cannot go with the key values. M is fixed. That is the idea. We have a fixed array. We need to store our keys in the array. So this array is our table. So which is 0 to m minus. So our table size is m. That is fixed.
Sir, and what about the hash function? Can we choose it? Can we choose it, or is it fixed?
No. Hash function we have to choose. We have to construct. We'll take some example of hash function. So if there are, say, you can tell me one hash function. If there are, say, integers, big integers. If we have a big integer, say 2 0 1 2 5 6, and if our m value is, say, some fixed, say 100. If our m value is 100, so what is this table size? Table size is 0 to 99. So whatever key we'll have, we have to map into this. So can you tell me on hash function?
Mod
Operation. So you just take the key, we do the mod m. So if you do the mod 100, it will be mod is basically the division. So remainder will be 0 to 99. So that is one example of hash function. So in the next class we'll discuss whether this is a good hash function or bad hash function. So hash function we need to construct. Once we have so these all we discuss, we have given a hash function. We just how to do this data structure, how to handle into this table. So that is our data structure, hashing. Any question? So we'll
Sir,
please.
Sir, are these arrays? Both of these are arrays
these are arrays of size m. These are tables.
Are these arrays of integers only or structures?
No, actually we are storing, ultimately we are storing the keys over here. So if this is hitting to, say, this slot, say this is 10, then we need to store this over here, right? Say 2 0 1 2 5 6. So this is an array of that keys, whatever the keys are. If the keys are integer,
yes, they should be arrays of pointers, right, to the starting element of the linked list.
Array of
pointers to the linked list.
No, basically we need to store these keys into this field, So now if the keys are integers, then we need to store the integers. So this will be array of integers. Now once we have a linked list, so that is also another array, basically sub array you can say. So there also we are storing the same, I mean these keys we are storing. Now you mean to say if we have, say, there is no collision, if all are there, so you mean to say you will just put a 0 or 1 and you have another array to store this in a list? That is you're telling, or just you can just
no. Sir, how do we basically link the two, like in case of chaining, then how do
In
we
case of
link?
chaining, suppose there are another number 40, another key which is mapping to this same slot 10. So h of this is 10, h of 40 is also 10. So in that case, what we do? We have another array over here. So we have to, for implementation, we can use malloc or calloc for the creating the node, and in that node the data field will be the key value, and we have a pointer field over here. So we can have just a list over there. So how we'll implement? You can take help of a two-dimensional array if you want, if you are very much fan of a array, or you can have a linked list if you want to have a dynamic scenario to avoid the memory, waste the memory. So that is the implementation issue. But these numbers, these fields are basically the we are going to store these keys. Okay. Any questions before I stop? Okay, so I think we can stop the recording now.